Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Straight Shootin LJA and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is in regards to the EFL. And the EFL will ask clubs if they want to scrap the 3 p.m. Saturday blackout rule this summer, which could be major. This was originally from April 24th, 2022. And you know what? The blackout will be discussed as an agenda item at the EFL's AGM in June, with the league canvassing opinion from clubs about changing rules to allow Saturday 3 p.m. games to be shown over the Ifollow service. Many clubs in League One and League Two believe that move would open up additional revenue streams to them, although opponents say it would reduce ticket sales and break the habit-forming tradition of attending matches. It's understood nothing is set in stone and specifics are yet to be discussed, but the league are open to the idea of loosening the rules if enough clubs are keen. Now, they would need to apply to UEFA because the current blackout period, for it to be changed, the EFL would need to apply to FIFA, and it runs from 2:45 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. on a Saturday. So it means no games in this country can be shown, can be broadcast, because they don't want to stop match goers from going. They don't want to hurt that revenue stream, which is fair play, but I'll come back to that. A big change in approach is that the EFL is open to discussing different ways to ease the 3 p.m. blackout rule rather than just scrapping it entirely. One possibility is scrapping the blanket ban to allow clubs to negotiate with each other about showing Saturday 3 p.m. games. That way reluctant clubs can opt out. Another is to replicate the rules used during the pandemic, when income from the first 500 Ifollow passes sold to the away team is distributed to the team playing at home to mitigate any impact on away ticket sales. That's actually not bad. One executive said that any change would likely be for the 2023-2024 season, not 2022-2023. And interestingly, actually, the EFL's next TV deal is actually due to start in 2024. So I could actually be discussing this again at that point. The 3 p.m. blackout has actually been in place since the 1960s, and it's essentially a gentleman's agreement, really, because it's actually not written into law, which a lot of people don't know. But it prohibits live football from being shown through the football pyramid. It is actually protected via Article 48 of the UEFA statutes, which I'm going to read out to you in a sec. And as I said, any move to loosen the rules would need to go through UEFA. From UEFA.com, I'm going to read Article 48, Parts 1 and Part 2, which pertain to the blackout rule. Article 48, Part 1, UEFA and member associations shall have the exclusive rights to broadcast, use, as well as to authorize their broadcast or use by picture, sound or other data carriers of any kind, including data carriers that have yet to be developed, matches which come within their jurisdiction, either live or recorded in whole or as excerpts. And Part 2 of that is the UEFA Executive Committee shall issue regulations governing the implementation of these rights. So essentially UEFA and its member associations such as La Liga, among others, the footballing associations, La Liga, Serie A, the Premier League, they do have the rights to broadcast stuff as they please, but it is one of them ones where, obviously, I said you have to apply to UEFA, and UEFA have final say in terms of the regulations governing the implementation of those rights. So, bit to unpack there. The EFL clubs, some of them wanting to get rid of the 3 p.m. blackout rule. I can understand that, because if the pandemic showed anything, it's that the only thing for sure is that nothing's for sure. And there were a lot of clubs, obviously, who suffered majorly, which is why certain clubs started broadcasting via the Ifollow platform their matches. And it's one of them ones where you do have to embrace the future. It's a case of embrace the future or get left behind. And football has been left behind in a number of ways. So for them to not embrace streaming matches is just absurd. But there is the other side to it, the kind of more sinister side, where you've got the Premier League, for instance, going after people and going very hard at people in terms of, and to an extent understandably so, protecting their intellectual property, their IP. And if they opened this up, if the Premier League opened it up, if the Football League opened it up, people wouldn't, and also stop charging so much to go to matches, then people wouldn't have to find illegal streams. If there were fairly priced legal streams, then a lot of people would use them. Look at Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. A lot of people use these platforms because to an extent they're fairly priced. So that should be your example right there with the Premier League and also the EFL and stuff like Ifollow. That should be your example. Your Netflix, Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, where they're fairly priced and you get a lot of content on each of those platforms. Instead of paying 65, 70 quid for Sky Sports. I remember back in the day, you couldn't split Sky Sports and Sky Movies. So even if you didn't want movies, you just wanted to watch football, you still had to pay an arm and a leg. So it's one of them where it's like, you still had to pay 60, 70 quid for the privilege. It's like, dude, I watch one movie a month. Like, why am I paying for it? Well, you can't split the packages. Nah. And even Now TV, I look at it as, what, 7, 8 quid for a weekend. What? Dude, why don't you offer that per month? You get a lot more people tuning into your content, and you produce content as well. Again, the Netflix content model, where you're producing original content and people obviously paying for it behind a paywall, but it's not an astronomical paywall like Sky Sports and BT Sport and others. So I look at it as the 3 p.m. blackout. I would say it needs to disappear. It needs to disappear. But I think certain clubs, if clubs lower down the football pyramid don't want to do it, then I can understand that. If you're in League One, League Two, the Vanarama League, I can understand you wouldn't want to get rid of the 3 p.m. blackout rule. And I think it should be for those 3 leagues down, don't get rid of the 3 p.m. blackout rule. I would say that. Because the Premier League and the Championship, they can afford it. They can afford to do the Ifollow stuff. They can afford to host their own services, like LFC TV Go. A lot of these clubs can afford to do that. But once you get League One, League Two down, they can't afford to do that. So those gate receipts and that match revenue coming in is crucial. And there does need to be a balance. I think if you give people the choice, there's a lot. I don't think habits will be broken. And if they do get broken, it won't be immediately. It won't be like next week you have Morecambe versus Accrington on Ifollow and nobody goes to a match. No. It's not going to happen that way. Like, some people still view going to a football match as a rite of passage. And I personally would be one of those. I'd love to take my little ones to a match. I'd love to take, for instance, my younger brother to a match. I've always wanted to do that since he was little. So it's one of them where it is still very much a rite of passage and a bonding exercise. And the most open area of the game to do that is the women's game, because the tickets are fairly priced in the women's game. But the men's game now, they're not fairly priced, and they're so difficult to come by as well. So something like Ifollow is the next best thing to hitting illegal streaming sites. You wonder why they are so popular. It's not rocket science to figure out why they're so popular. So it's one of them where it's like there does need to be a balance struck, and the 3 p.m. blackout rule for me is archaic at Premier League and Championship level. It really is archaic. Because there are so many thousands of fans who want to watch matches but can't go to the stadiums because of the waiting list. But can't make it maybe for mobility reasons. And COVID-19 has put a cat amongst the pigeons in regards to that as well. Because there's a lot of people who are still fearful of getting COVID. Even in April, May of 2022. There are still people fearful of being in large groups. There are a lot of people who have anxiety and other problems, who can't get to matches, but they love football and they love the game. And it's not fair to shut them out because of this 3 p.m. blackout rule, because clubs just want to be selfish and keep all that money to themselves. It's not fair. So it is one of them. I think I said there needs to be balance. There very much needs to be balance in regards to it. But let me know your views. Do you think that the 3 p.m. blackout rule should be completely gone for the EFL and the Premier League? It's one of them ones. It's only in this country. Because remember, in India, through Star Sports, NBC Sportsnet, Fox Sportsnet, they show Premier League matches at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So is England being left behind in this regard? Are we being deprived as fans? I think we are, to a large extent. And we're being extorted at the same time. What do you think? Do you think the EFL should scrap the 3 p.m. blackout rule for the Championship, League One and League Two? Or just for the Championship? Should the Premier League scrap it as well? Services like Ifollow, should they be opened up more? One of them was. Is it a viable alternative? Or is it going to cause a stampede of people not going to matches anymore? I want to know. I have been Straight Shootin LJA and I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website for everything Pitch Talk. You can listen to our podcast there. You can find our videos there. Go to the podcast page. You can grab our RSS feed and listen to podcast episodes there as well. YouTube.com/Pitch Talk for all of our videos, including coaching with JBK, those vlogs, video versions. The Straight Shootin View, 5 minutes with the G, Pitch Talk at Cup Finals, and much, much more content as well. Also, Anchor, Spotify. You can, if you're on Spotify, you can catch video versions now of our podcast episodes on there too. So Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, GAANA, Ghana, out in Asia. You can catch our podcast there. TuneIn Radio, Player FM, so many places to pick up the Pitch Talk podcast episodes, each and every one of those. Also as well, Verbal, at Get Verbal on Twitter. Tweet them, give them a follow and let them know that we sent you, because we're Verbal ambassadors and proud of it. VURBL. You know what? At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. At Pitch Talk on Instagram as well. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. I said, man, we're in a number of places. Come and follow us and join the footballing revolution. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time, take care from the Straight Shootin One. Thanks for joining me on the Straight Shootin View.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
Including special feature segments.
5 minutes with the G.
the Straight Shootin View,
Coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content.
and
Audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor.
Spotify.
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook.
And www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.